Anatomy notes. Cerebrum. There are 4 lobes. The frontal lobe has to do with personality traits, completion of sentences, voluntary body movements, and the ability to solve complex tasks. Next, the parietal lobe processes sensations, reactions, and movement, and has to do with language processing. Next, the occipital lobe deals with the processing of visual information. Finally, the temporal lobe, which deals with auditory processing, balance, language, and memory. Within the cerebrum, there are 2 cortexes. The sensory cortex, which receives and interprets sensory information, and the motor cortex, which controls execution of movements. Next, cerebellum. It functions with posture, balance, coordination, motor learning, cognitive functions such as language. It also relates to muscle memory and language connection. Next, brainstem. The RAS is the reticular activating system, and this regulates change from alertness to deep sleep. It involves REM, which is rapid eye movement, dealing with vivid sleep, the circadian rhythm, which is a 24-interval clock that determines sleep and awake time, and melatonin, which is a hormone responsible for sleepiness. Next, diencephalon. The hypothalamus links the endocrine and nervous system. It also governs physiological functions like thirst, hunger, and sleep. The thalamus acts like a switchboard or a relay station. It sends signals to other parts of the brain. ADH is linked with alcohol and relates to blood volume and pressure and dehydration. Next, Parkinson's disease is a chronic disorder that primarily has to do with motor functions and how motor functions are affected. Symptoms are resting tremors, slow movements, rigid muscles, and unstable posture. People affected are lacking dopamine, which typically creates smooth, coordinated muscle movements. Next, Alzheimer's. This deals with fragments of amyloid plaques that form hard, insoluble plaques causing cell death. Also, neurofibril tangles are insoluble, twisted fibers found in brain cells and that cause problems. Next, ALS. This stands for amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. This affects motor nerves, which means the disease kills motor neurons, which these motor neurons control and send messages to muscles, and they also dictate voluntary muscle movements. Therefore, without the actions and movements of muscles, muscle atrophy occurs. Within this disease, there is a fraying of the nervous connection within the spinal cord. Symptoms are trouble holding things, changing vocal pitch, fatigue of limbs, tripping, slurred speech, and weak muscles. Most cases of ALS are not caused by genetics. Alcohol. BAC equals blood alcohol content. Now I'm going to list the way alcohol affects your brain in order. 1. Cerebral cortex. The cerebral cortex functions in the highest functioning area of the brain and has to do with logic, reasoning, and decision making. The effect of alcohol is that it depresses inhibitory centers, which makes you more social and confident. It also slows processing of sensory information and inhibits thought processes, so you lack sound judgment. 2. Limbic system. The limbic system functions with the emotions and memory. The alcohol alcohol causes exaggerated states of emotion and memory loss in relation to brownouts and blackouts. 3. Cerebellum. Muscle movement is already affected, and the cerebellum relates to posture and balance, so your balance is poor, and you could bump into things. 4. Hypothalamus and pituitary gland. The alcohol causes an increase of sexual behavior and a reduction of ADH production. 5. Medulla, which has to do with the brainstem. This relates to breathing, respiration, heart rate. Alcohol could make you feel sleepy or cause you to be unconscious. The alcohol also causes your temperature to drop, and you could feel warm, but this is only due to superficial blood vessel dilation.